I'm going to grab this mic here so you guys can hear me a little better. So again, my name is J.C. Muhammad. Let me take this. And I am the faith leader organizer for the People's Lobby Faith Liberation Movement. And most people, when they hear that name, they say, J.C. Muhammad, organizing with the churches. Well, let me just say, I grew up in Trinity Church. I grew up under Reverend Wright. And you can't find a better pastor to grow up under than Reverend Wright. And he rooted me in the Bible. And when I became a Muslim, I realized that, Moses is mentioned in the Holy Quran over 130 times. Jesus is mentioned over 80 times. So between the Old Testament and the New Testament, in fellowship, I'm in the right place at the right time. And I'm organizing with the right people, and I feel right at home. Yeah. So I staff the Clergy Caucus. That's what we commonly call it, but it's the Faith Liberation Movement, right? With clergy leaders to help kind of guide the work that we do out in the community from a faith perspective. And before I go any further, I want to say I really we should thank Fellowship and the wonderful, wonderful job that they have done in hosting us and their wonderful staff. I don't know if Nicole is in the room. She may have stepped out. But let's give them another round of applause. So this is the call to action phase of our program. And as you know, Jesus said, be ye not hearers of the word, but be ye doers of the word. So what is it that we need to do, and what action do we need to take right now? I want you to, if you guys have a copy of your legislative agenda, okay, this is from prayer to policy, right? One of the things that TPL does is TPL goes down to Springfield and talks with lawmakers. Now, we got a strange character in the White House, and he's doing strange things, and he's making some folks down in Springfield act strange. Okay? For real. So we need to go down to Springfield and make sure that they maintain a moral compass. And because some of them get a little confused about who they're working for and what they're supposed to be doing. So we do what we call a lobby day. We go down and we have a chat with them about what our priorities are, what the priorities of poor and working class people are, but more importantly, what's in our self-interest. And we have to be clear on what our self-interest is as people who live in these neighborhoods, right? So we don't want them getting confused about what priorities should be in the state budget. So if you look at the top, it says revenue priorities on the first page. Now, why is that there? Because poor and working class people need to be in the budget. And they need to stay in the budget. Okay? More importantly, we also need more revenue in the budget, which means taxing corporations and the wealthy. So that needs to be a priority. Secondly, we don't need any more cuts to CTA. None. That part, right? Yeah. No more cuts to CTA. In fact, CTA, Metra, PACE, RTA, all of them should be combined. And we ought to make sure that the revenue is in place to make sure that there's no gaps in services, that people can get to jobs, they can get to daycare, they can get to church when they need to. All right? So when we go down to Springfield, we have a conversation with them about that. Okay? Thirdly, how many of you have someone who is right now in the criminal justice system? Friend or family, right? Some of us have people in the criminal justice system for a long time, which means, unfortunately, we'll be getting jailhouse calls from now until I'm one of those persons, okay? A childhood friend of mine is in the jail system, and I'm like godfather to his children, right? And he's there for a long time. But part of his issue was he didn't have proper legal representation. And that's a serious problem here in Illinois. So when we go down to Springfield, we lobby for what's called the FAIR Act to make sure that there is a legal representation, representative for people who are charged with a crime and can't afford an attorney. You all know that the state has